I'm saying. That the woman is free. The woman is free to remarry, but you cannot remarry. How many years are there? It's another Friday night in the studios of New Frontiers Television. It is Ladies Lounge. And of course, you know how we kick off your weekend on an exciting note. Tonight is not going to be an exception because we're ready to have an amazing time with you. I'm here with my girls. And tonight we're having, a serious conversation. This conversation has spanned from generation to generation. Women, girls, and all of that. And we're talking about period poverty. What is period poverty? Period poverty, usually it's a conglomerate of different things. So it talks about menstrual hygiene, about menstruation due to lack of financial constraints. It's anything that it's just whatever surrounds menstruation and also has to do with financial constraints. That's what period poverty is all about. And while we're having this discussion, that's because Lovett is into something amazing. She's done that for three years now, and for every year it's a discovery. For every year it's a new look. I was speaking to you of how there was, I can't remember the year exactly, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where we went to a school in one of the slums in Ibadan. One of those interior schools, and then it was a field sanitary pad campaign. We're in that school to give out sanitary pad, and some girls said they don't come to school because whenever they are on menstruation, they don't come to school, and that's because they cannot afford sanitary pads, so they use tissue paper, and sometimes they get stained. So they just feel like it's discomfort coming to school.
So why don't I stay at home?
Why don't I stay at home? These and many more are some of the issues around surrounding menstruation. And let me talk about my own experience. A lot of ladies, when I was in secondary school, a lot of my classmates, people, of course, you will know that I'm tiny, so it's not, I can't now be saying it, so you already know it. So imagine I was like, years back. So I was a late bloomer. So as the time I was in SS3, I've not started menstruating. But I had friends who were starting menstruating. And I know how it was a girls' school. So it was not even a unisex. But again, I know how when girls are menstruating, how they are into their shells, like people tie cardigan up and down.
Cardigan.
You don't even want to tell people, and then when they get staying, sometimes we make fun of them
about it. Oh, you're staying.
Yes, and then everybody, see the way she's there. And when I started menstruating, of course, it came as a shock. And thank God, because thank God I was a late bloomer. I used to tell people that it is of great advantage because I've seen a lot of it happen. So I knew that I needed to get a sanitary pad and all of that. And Nigeria was still good then. Now you can still afford.
There was a time when sanitary pad was 159.
But a lot of girls these days don't have that advantage.
Before now, some people don't. Some people don't understand that the use of sanitary. Why they need to use sanitary.
Okay.
Some people don't have education on sanitary, how to use sanitary pad. And then all those things will make them feel, we are making use of clothes. We need to make use of clothes. Let me not lie to you, I've used clothes before. When I first started, I used the clothes. And then the danger that's associated with this making use of clothes. Nobody, if your parents are not, your mom especially, or your elder siblings are not educated on the dangers associated with making use of clothes, you won't understand why you need to make use of sanitary. Because you feel like, I'm going to use this thing once and I have to dispose it. But when it comes to clothes, I have to use it once. I have to use it wash it and I can still reuse. And like that, I'm saving money.
I don't know if I was going to call it a period poverty at the time, because I was the first child. I was the only girl. So it wasn't like my mom was spending so much on sanitary pad and she could not afford it. But it was an orientation for her. She grew up using clothes. Before the advent of sanitary towels, that's what she used all the time. And now, as a young lady, I think about age 13, I started my menstrual cycle, and then she goes into her wardrobe, bring out a full wrapper, cut it into pieces, and like, you use this one today, use this one tomorrow. She counted the days for me and fold it, and even taught me how to use it. It was cool at first until one day I went to school and then it fell off.
Whoa, that's so bad.
There's so many things. You mentioned a lot of effects that people are not talking about, which includes infection to even start with. I mean, ordinarily, if you have a wet underwear as a lady on, the chances that you get infection is really high, let alone a soaked clothes underneath your body. There's no way you're not going to get infected. We don't get enough orientation. Sometimes last month, myself and the team for Paddy Girl campaign went to Bodija Market. We said we're going to do what's it called, a content for people to support us for sanitary towels, right? And then this old woman in the market was saying, "Call Rasha Jare, you should go and buy clothes." So they think it's a normal thing in 2024, just last month. So for her to say, that means she'll most likely give her child clothes. And if she doesn't give her child clothes, this child, if she cannot afford to give the child sanitary, for ladies, I mean, growing up, there's so many things a girl child will want to do to get money to get sanitary towels. So I think a proper orientation is needed.
It seems as if not everybody understands what it is when it comes to making use of sanitary instead of clothes. Yeah, like I also attended a boarding house. Mine was a boarding house. We were in a church, and our church wear was white. That was when I started. As in, we stood up and someone was like, "Look, check the back of your clothes. There is blood." I was like, God. Blood from where to where? I did not commit murder. It's not as if I did anything wrong. When I saw it, a senior knew what was happening. And immediately she came to my rescue. She put a jacket around my waist, took me to the hostel.
Okay.
And then this is one of the seniors that we were like, she's very, very straight. I cannot forget her.
She was nice.
And she was nice. That I cannot forget her. We call her Busayo Ayopo. She had to cover me. She took me. She took me to the hostel, and I was crying. As I was crying, I felt so bad. I was still in jail, so I was like, I don't want to start early. This is so early.
Care. How do you even care for yourself within this period? So it's not just. We already established that clothes are bad. Even tissue right now. There are some theories that have proven that tissue is terrible.
Tissue is terrible because of when you start getting pieces. That
it could go into your body. Yes. So the safest right now would have to be. Someone said, "Oh, would you recommend?" I can't say I recommend the brand, but I mean the safest right now is sanitary towels because of the way it is being built.
Like, what really initiated it?
I used to stay in the compound where there's this young girl who would come to me every now and then, almost every month. Sister Lovett, please give me 2 sanitary pads. She's always collecting 2. And then I'll give her. And then one day I had to call her that, why are you always, first of all, I'm curious, is it just 2 days? I know averagely for a lady it's 2 to 7 days, normal. I mean, anything aside from that one is abnormal. You should see a doctor. So, yeah, she comes to take 2 all the time. Okay, what happens when you take 2 sanitary pads? I will use clothes and tissue to bridge it. So the days I'm to go to school or somewhere, I would use the sanitary towel. And then when you say use, that means you probably use 1 for an entire day. And then at least you'll be able to use 3 or 4 in a day, depending on your flow. So why are you using just 1 in a day, which is even wrong? It's another level of infection too for you. It's not healthy. And then she was like, my mom said she cannot afford it. She doesn't have money. Each time I ask her, Lobada dear, and then the dad would be like, why should you be asking me about money? Go and meet your mom. So it's a thing in the house, and then she stopped asking. She just looks for alternative. Now I got to figure out that if I wasn't there, and she feels she could not approach me, she probably goes somewhere else. Someone might take advantage of her because they want to give her money to buy sanitary towels. So I made it, like, I thought about it critically, that she's in secondary school. That means there are some other girls in her school who might not be able to afford it. How about go to these schools to talk to them about needs to take care of themselves, menstrual hygiene, how to even calculate their cycle, because that's another thing. I didn't know about calculating cycle until probably 3-4 years ago. I just know that once it gets to that time of the month, it comes and that's it, and they will move on. That was the only information. Nobody taught me before this revelation. After, thank you for the advent of this new app that we all use.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
The app is a lifesaver. But without the app, a lot of people don't. Even with the app, some people still don't know how to calculate it. So these are information that we give out to the girls. So I thought of it that, okay, at the end of the day, what can we do? I think 1,000 seems fair. If you go around, okay, why it became 1,000 was the first school we were able to visit, St. Anne's. They had 1,000 girls, or 900 and something. So I figure, okay, random figure 1,000. We should be able to cover that. We're lucky enough for the next school, they had close to 1,000. So I think this year is 1,150 for the girls. But generally, we should be able to sort 1,000. We know we can't do that monthly, right? But at the end of the day, the goal is get to a point where we can have a sanitary pad depot where people who genuinely needs it will go there and pick. And those who genuinely wants to give out, we don't even have to contribute. We just go there, put your sanitary pad there, and then someone does the giving out. That's the goal for next few years. But right now, while we're still looking at it, I feel like there are so many people out there who could also champion this kind of cause.
A lot of people don't even know what to do or not to do. The truth is, up till now, honestly, up till now, if without an app, I cannot calculate my cycle perfectly. No,
that's because
I will fail woefully.
Nobody teaches us.
I can't even remember if I was ever taught, or maybe I didn't pay attention, so I can't really say. But I know that I cannot calculate it, and these are issues. Because I mean, a girl who is supposed to be on, and then she goes to school, she doesn't know, and then she gets 10 in school. She not even bring money to buy food. So how is she going to take it? Possibly she'll have to go back home.
Of course.
And then when she gets home, that school period is over for that until she's done, and then she's back. So we should really begin to have this conversation. So while you're listening, also think of some of the things that you can also do in your immediate environment. Now, looking at some of the schools that you visited, what are some of the major challenges that you feel some of these young girls face when it comes to menstruation? Like, what's like the biggest issue?
I think the biggest issue, I mean, I've really been lucky enough to unpick schools that are only female, so it's easier for my conversations to go smoothly. One of the major challenges that I think these girls face is the bullying part. Now, some people were wondering that, how do you even get bullied for menstrual cycle? Yes, I mean, you can, because at a certain age, your classmates are having their period already and you're not. Everybody starts to see you as a small girl. You're not a big girl yet. They tell themselves, please sit down.
I wear that bag because
they'll tell you, what are you trying to say? Like, are you even saying your period? Please go and sit down somewhere. Nobody wants you to interact with their conversations. They don't even think that you have the right to have information
you're not a woman
because
yet.
you are not a woman yet. So part of the major things that we've been able to cover is, while we're talking about menstrual hygiene, take care of yourself, wash up, we also try to let them understand the importance of treating their fellow classmates or friends in the appropriate manner. The fact that a girl do not have has not started her period doesn't make her less of who you are. And we also explain the reason why menstruation is important. So when you have it, it doesn't mean that you're the biggest in the room. I used to have a secondary school friend back then. I'm sorry, I had to call her name Lolade. I don't even know where she is right now. I think she started her period first, and she's all big and she has that body, and then she was the biggest girl in class. So when she's having a period, and then the boys, when they are playing and everything, no, don't touch my period, please. And then she and then she makes it, no, don't come close. And then we all look at her like, oh, okay, I think you are the one that could relate to the boys because you're actually on your period, so you're a big girl. The boys think you're a big girl. So that's one major challenge. And then I think another challenge, to be fair, like I said, the team has really been lucky enough to have that free access to none of the schools have given us issues. None of the girls have given us issues reaching out to them. But what I just noticed is the bullying aspect. So,
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to figure out if no, I don't think I have an experience to share. I think it's for me, of course.
it was just personal. You bullied yourself.
Well,
You tell yourself that I'm not there yet.
yes, but then again, at the end of the day, because you know sometimes when you're in a hurry to grow up,
Yeah,
and then you grow
we're
up, and then you
all
realize
Were you
have to
actually,
grow up.
actually happy to start a period?
no, I was not, because I realized that it's scam because it comes with lots of trouble. So why were people happy? Like, why was everyone jumping up?
Because I was wondering because
I had someone who
that,
said
that was
they
one
killed
of that was
chicken
one of
for
the
her.
reasons why I cried when I started, because I was like, this is too early. I'm still a small girl. Why am I starting this?
Did I even cry for starting my period? I think what I cried for was actually growing my bosom. I cried for that because it was coming out, and for young ladies, it's usually painful.
Yeah.
And then I was running down the stairs, and I hit my chest somewhere. It was so painful.
Wow.
And then I came home, I was crying. I cried the entire day. And then my mom made it more terrible. Kept on telling my dad that she's already growing this thing. That's that she's already growing this. It feels like she was going to tell everybody she met the reason why I'm so pained and I'm crying is. That was really embarrassing. So yeah, a lot of things that happen to us as girls. That's why I feel like these conversations should be open for men themselves, so they can also. There's the way you treat your female child, your girlfriend, your wives.
Yeah.
Some of these things, it's painful. That's the truth. Everything that has to do with a lady, it's painful most of the time.
Honestly.
Before pre-period, the period itself. After, I feel like we only have one sane week.
Yes, just
in a
one
month.
week. Yeah, one
Funniest
free
thing,
week.
I saw your video yesterday where a lady was analyzing that women have 4 personalities. That
In a
there's
month.
in a month, and then it's not their fault. She was like, it's not our fault. There are times
Your
whereby you
fault.
feel like you want to murder someone. There are times whereby you are in pain. There are times whereby you don't just want to be alone.
I would
That
cry
thing-
sometimes, and
that
I
time
would
you will
wonder
cry.
why am I crying? After a few days
Yes.
after the period comes, I'll be like, oh wow, this thing gets to me every time,
Yeah.
every time of my life. So I cry over what I'm not supposed to cry about. Why are you crying? Why are you
Yes.
pained? Why are you angry? And then you snap at someone, and then you find
Yeah.
that. So these are conversations that should be open, not just menstrual cycle now. What happens before and after, in between? These are things that we should be open to.
And I think that
discussing.
would help men to also understand when their women are exhibiting different emotions. You'll be able to understand that, oh, maybe it's towards a period, I need to be more understanding. Yeah, maybe when she feels wants to be alone, or she snap at you at any time, you feel like, okay, I think maybe it's almost time. Yeah, there's some guys that will tell you that it's as if it's almost time, Abby.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that
that's even annoying. It annoys me the more. I have really sweet guys who have the app on their phone and they just track it for their girlfriend.
Yes.
It gives them notification
Yes.
of the mood, likely mood that your girlfriend should be
So they
in.
prepare for
Yes,
They prepare for it.
Honestly, while that sounds cute, I mean, there's also this part, and which is why I feel like if men understand these things, they would be more sensitive to people's emotions.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an argument with someone, with a guy? Maybe you guys are having a conversation, the conversation becomes heated, and then they are asking you, and out of the blues, and they ask you, "Are you on your period?"
That's
Yeah.
annoying.
Like because they just feel like when you're menstruating, you can't
be sane.
you can't yeah you
Logically.
can't be reasonable and all of that. I mean, that's totally insulting. If you do it, you should stop. It's highly insulting. So and you don't go around asking everyone. See, there's some people that some guys don't even know conversation, and then they're asking you, okay, I mean, this is annoying. I've seen people also ask, and so when is your why you want
Why
to
you
keep
asking?
I said the only reason I told somebody, I said the only reason as a guy, like, you're not like, we're not on that level. The only reason you can ask me is if you want to get me a period care pack. You cannot be asking me random things like that. If you want to get education on menstruation and all of that, engage in real conversation. I mean, ask people, okay, so how does it feel? I mean, if you are also struggling, because of course there are some men also who are struggling maybe with their girlfriends, with their daughters, they don't. Oh, now let me share a story that happened recently. An older friend has a daughter, an 8-year-old,
Okay.
and then the girl is having issues like stomach upset and all of that. So they took her to the hospital, and then when they got to the hospital was like, they need to go for a scan, but it could be that she wants to start menstruating. And
the guy is going to school.
The guy was and then the guy was sharing with me like, but she's so young.
She's so young.
They do say she just looks big. Of course, the lady,
looks
the girl
big.
is big. She looks big. So she just looks big, but she's so young. But that means now he has to pay extra attention. And the guy was so worried. So I told him it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And then the mom too was like, no, she's still my baby. She's like, this thing is not a big deal.
It's scary, actually.
It's scary.
And it's funny how it's changing. Those days, there were people who say their menstruation 18, 17, and then the age range increases. We're saying 13, 12. Now we're seeing girls who are actually springing up 8. If I have that child, I'll be scared. I'll start crying right there. Why are you starting period this early? It's scary because I know the pain that comes with it.
Yeah.
So why should you be going through that stress at age?
But I think another thing now, talking about that reminds me, I think I've heard someone say that, yes, people that start their menstruation early, it's because of they've been involved in some sexual activities.
Oh yeah, there are also a lot
there's
of
a lot of myth concerning that, and which needs to be cleared up. No. Some people believe that any lady that start their period early, that lady has been involved in some sexual activities, and that is why.
I don't want to believe
it is not true. It is not
because
true.
Are you telling me when a lady starts to grow a bosom, it means that she's
I know, but
at a certain age?
That's what
they tell us these things now.
Yes, that's what. And funniest thing is, it comes from men. Men are those ones they will get from guys that say they will say it among themselves that don't mind that the lady that has started that period, don't mind that she has been involved, which is not so.
I mean, some people would not like to add religion and all to it, but it just shows how great or powerful God is because it keeps changing.
Yes.
I told someone at some point, let a 5-year-old not start saying
because
the way it is going now.
They're going far.
I feel like in next 7 years again, we might hear stories of that. So.
And also talking about some of the myths surrounding menstruation. You know that there are some people that they will say you cannot go to a certain place because you are menstruating and all of that. And these are some of the things that lower the self-esteem of a woman. And this is, of course, even some of the reasons why girls don't talk about these things. I tell people, I mean, this is not to shame any religion, but I tell you that I don't subscribe to the fact that you cannot come to a place of worship because you are on your period. It is
why? I think the orientation that it is filth, it is dirty.
Yes, it brings a culture of shame.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be. It's a certain thing. Biologically, there are certain eggs that did not do certain things and that is coming out. So you making it filth, dirt, and all it's just terrible. I remember the story of that lady that was in one national assembly outside the country, not Nigeria, it's not Kenya, that was staying, and they asked her to walk out of the room.
And she said she
would not.
Yep.
Well, I
love her. I love her guts.
Her guts there. That I'm not going to step out because you think that, and it was women who are actually championing, go outside, you should go get, come on. I feel like we should be nice to each other.
All right, so now let's ask you. I know that the team has expanded. I mean, it's not the little seed.
It's not high.
It's great, larger and larger every time. Now, you've told us some of your futuristic plan concerning this project. And of course, I know that considering the schools that you've picked, you've been able to blend the vulnerable, like the poor, the average together. Now, what more do you think that we all can do as women to really ensure that girls, most especially, because for an adult, you can cope with these things, but girls especially, they're able to feel comfortable in their skin when they're on their period and that they can have access to some of those things. How should everyone get involved?
I think first of all, the concept of accessibility should be one thing that every lady should put in mind. You have a girl child around you, in your church, school, the ones you mentor, around you basically. You should be open to having the conversations with them even before they bring it up to you. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal to ask if they are actually seeing their period, what pains. There are certain ways to bring up the conversations. Do you feel pain? Do you feel at what time of the month? Do you have sanitary towels? How best can you help? These are conversations that you should learn to have with younger girls. That way they're open to tell you certain things. I mean, once you start from that, it's easier to know if they actually need it or not. You could tell when a girl needs it by what she says to you. Oh, I do this, I do that, and then I use sanitary pad. I use one today, and I'm like, why are you using one? Oh, because I can't afford it. These are ways to actually get deeply rooted to conversations like that. And then secondly, like I said earlier on, it's not a one-man thing. Someone sent me a flyer and said, oh, these people are doing our thing. That's the way the person said it. Our thing. And I was like, no, it's not our thing. It's a general thing. I'll be glad if we have more people jump on things like that. I would want to even be part of it. If I see someone who is trying to champion Party Girl campaign in the city of Ibadan or any other place, if I have the opportunity to either contribute or be there, give my presence, why not? I'll definitely want to. I feel like the more people we reach, the more it opens room for conversations like that. The seed I'm trying to put on the floor is, for every year I try to talk about it and give out sanitary pad. Somewhere in your mind, you register the importance of giving this out. It becomes a conversation. I mean, this person is doing it all the time. That means there's a problem she's trying to fix. So I think I should look into this too. So yeah, you're trying to solve a problem. It shouldn't be a one-man thing. So first of all, you can be part of it by giving out your own money to it. You don't necessarily have to give to the whole world. If it's 1, 2, 3 girls that you can do that to, be open to doing it. Some people even take it as a thing that they do. I'm picking 5 girls every month. I want to be sorting it. If that's what you can do. I'm picking 2 girls every month. I'll buy them period care. If that is the only thing you can do, be open to that. And then not just the girls now. They used to say our mothers are gatekeepers to certain things that happen in our lives.
Yeah.
Their orientations make and mar us at the end of the day, how they see life, because how they see life is a function of how we're living right now and how people treat us. So it's not just a conversation for the young girls now. Now we're doing our bit to reach out to the young girls. Hopefully when they have kids, they do better. What about these old women who are still there with that same orientation and probably springing it out to some other girls that don't have access to it? So you should handle them. So there are women around you. Talk to them. Even, I'm not saying you should go and Tojibole or no. You know, there's some people who act their pieces outside. You know that this thing is for period. I did not send it to them. So they don't cut your neck off or insult the hell out of you. But there are tactical ways to do it. Make sure you're on that same relationship with them. And you don't tell them that they cannot afford it or treat them in that way. You can tell them the disadvantage of using it. This thing you are using can cause this, can cause that. Can even lead to infertility, because the more infection you get, the chances that you start treating and then you might not be able to give birth. It's not one yard in one village that is doing it. You're the ones that have choose not to do certain things for yourself. Now, at person be like, oh, how can I now make it better? Use certain things. It's expensive. That way you can now key into conversations. If you can, good. If you cannot, there are NGOs, there are platforms out there who are doing these things. So link them up with someone who can make sure that they get access to free sanitary pads. Yes,
and of course, if you also want to support Love It, so you can reach out to us. We would, of course, deliver your message. Because Ladies Lounge will also be proudly supporting our girl. I mean, we'll be proudly supporting our girl for that campaign and also doing our bits in our own way to ensure that period poverty is no longer a thing and the community, and that's the much we'll have on the conversation. I mean, talking about period menstruation is a whole lot. It is not a conversation that we can exhaust tonight, but I'm sure that either way, see, I've learned 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, sorry, Jola, before we end it, I actually have a question for for Love It concerning this campaign. Do you also educate them about how to handle cramps?
Yes, I mean the first year we had conversations around it. We had conversations on how to handle cramps, different methods. I mean, it works for different people. Some people don't even have cramps at all, and some do. Now, in fact, we talk about heated pads. we talk about certain drugs, but make sure that you are reaching out to your doctor to know which one. Don't just swallow anything. There's this popular one we used to take back there for no reason. We just swallow it. It helps though, but I mean, we don't know how effective that is. Reach out to your doctor. And then for some people, it's even critical. They are literally sick.
No, people end up in hospital.
Crying and going to the hospital. Please reach out to your doctor for that. It might be something else attached to it. It's not supposed to be that complex for the body. But, I mean, that's where we find ourselves. And we can't explain some of those things. But we talk about various ways to bridge it.
It's been tough being a woman, please. I mean, so guys, celebrate the women in your life. And that's much we're talking tonight. Thank you for coming, love it.
Thank you very much.
It's always a
for
pleasure having you. Okay, signing out on Ladies Lounge.
I was expecting, I thought maybe you would not say thank you for coming.
No, I wasn't going to say thank you for coming. I was going to tell you to thank our viewers for watching this episode.
Yes, thank you for watching this episode. And I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. You've learned one or two things. And this clip is not only for the female, it's made for male too. So you can extend it to your male brothers, sisters, friends, siblings, daddy, whoever, so that they will also learn from this thing. And this is from Adebola Adeleke.
Yes, and I am Adiola Adeleke. Have a fantastic night. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you again next week, Friday.